And it's difficult to see it. Most people don't understand an exponential function where something just changes a little bit, then more and more. But then it begins to change faster and faster. And suddenly you will be very surprised about the outcome. And I think that's one of the things that makes it difficult for people to see the situation today. During the Second World War, you had an enemy clearly defined. You don't have an enemy today. No. You just have some people you want to integrate in a society where they perhaps will find it difficult, given their low IQ.
He's a friend you don't know yet.
Yes.
That's the situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was shocked by the actual figure you gave, that was about 72, that the intelligence level, the average intelligence level, because of these low IQ immigrants coming in, plus this other thing that you call the relaxed, what was it, relaxed attitude to who should, you know, be breathing for the future. Like we had this in the old days, attempts to make a healthier population, which we called eugenics, which is a bad word today. Hardly anybody can mention that, but that was a popular subject then, and philosophers, politicians, even in Denmark, like Mr. Steinke, the social democrat Steinke, were very worried about the health, both mental health and the physical health of the population, and that was to be included in the laws somehow. Yet, since 1850, this is what you say, there has been a relaxed attitude in Denmark, maybe in the whole Western society, about these measures. Is that a way to put it? And that also contributes to this fantastic drop of 21 IQ points over these years. Is that what you told us?
The problem is, and that's a tragic aspect of democracy and any humane society, the more we are able to preserve the weak, the more will genes disposing people for illnesses of different kinds also prevail in the population. So the more humane a society is, the more it will be genetically weakened. And that's a sad aspect, because there's no easy solution to that problem. No. You can hear most idealistic and nice people would say we have to preserve people even if they have a very severe inherited disease. But that also means that in the next generation there will be more with that illness. Yeah. And we are not able to handle that problem in a humanistic society. No. Darwin would say that previously you would simply see that these people did not survive. But with the modern miracle of medicine, we can have more and more people surviving. And Darwin would say that goes against natural selection. So we have an inherent problem here.
Which is, we have it with the rest of the West too. That's a problem in Germany and the United States. You can't mention these eugenic measures that they talked about before the Second World War. That's about, it's totally removed from, probably among all those books banned by the Allies after the Second World War in Germany. And maybe not exactly banned in Denmark, for instance, but you don't find them in the shelves of the public libraries, these books anymore.
No, I think the last eugenics people disappeared around 1990, 1930. Mm-hmm. Before that, you could talk openly about the genetic quality of a people. But after the Second World War, it became impossible. Partly because Hitler was advocating the pure bloodlines and so on. And now people are confusing eugenics with Nazism.
Exactly.
Which is a sad state, because eugenics works whether you like it or not.
Exactly. It's a natural law that works every day and
yeah,
on every person.
Well, perhaps not a natural law, but it's a law that Darwin was very kind to explicate to us. And it seems to work, and it seems to work in a way that he predicted.
Yeah, I mean,
but perhaps we are at the brink of understanding why civilizations simply disappear.
And also on the private level, with all this DNA research and genetic research in general, it looks like a little bit like it comes in through the back door. Like on a personal level, people are allowed today to be informed that the child that the wife has in her stomach is not that healthy. And she
yes, today we have a lot of people who are practicing eugenics, but they condemn it when we talk about it.
I see.
When you have a fetus on its way, you would like to have a scan of the fetus to see if there's some severe defect. That's eugenics. When you look for a partner, you look for the best partner around. That's eugenics. So we are all eugenicists, but when you mention the word, well, that's just bad.
That's bad language. Okay, that leads me to another question, which is everything connected with Hitler, with Nazism, with race, actually, because he also talked about race, has sort of been totally verboten since the Second World War. We know that. Mm-hmm. But it goes to the area of freedom of speech in general, which we see is sort of becoming a very rare commodity in all of Europe. There are things you cannot mention. It's Jews, you can't criticize them. It's things about race. You can't say anything bad about the immigrants. You could go to prison for 2 years if you don't phrase things correctly.
I will probably go to prison. Yes.
You are
for presenting data, not as attitudes, but data.
I don't think you'll go to prison because actually what in Denmark they're so strange because the people who've gone wrong with this, they have humiliated in a little way somebody like saying that they should be, all these foreigners should be put on an island, stay with themselves, and because that's all they're good for. Something like that would be maybe stupid to say, and they've got a census for that. Like even
it would also be stupid to do.
It would also be stupid to do.
Yeah.
It has to be handled in a civilized way, and I think if you like you do it, criticize this evolution, this situation, which you're in a position to predict exactly what will happen.
Perhaps not exactly.
No, I mean, as
probably.
much as you can. Probably, as you said, probably even your science, like these psychological measurements, are even better at financial predictions than any economist would be. You said that yesterday, which was interesting, because they're not known to be very accurate. So if you could just do a little bit better than them when they advise you on investments or which way is the economy going, or I mean, they're not as good as the meteorologist by any means. So it's like these things cannot be mentioned, which is a fantastic thing in a civilized society. People have been fired for that, and we have to do something about that. I mean, a person like you should not be fired for saying some truths. But yet you were not fired, but you were sort of being pressured out of your job.
Suspended, that's the word.
Yeah, and another person in England got actually fired the same way.
Oh yes.
You remember him? What was that? His.
Was that Chris Brand?
That was Frank Ellis in the Leeds University. Mm-hmm. He just said something about the differences in racial intelligences and out he went.
Oh yes, the president of Harvard, Larry Summers, was actually fired, or he resigned before his second vote of non-confidence. He said that there might not be an average sex difference in innate abilities, but the male dispersion is broader, which means that there will be more very dumb men and more very intelligent men. After 1 year and 7 excuses and donations of $50 million for recruiting people to physics and chemistry, he had to go.
My God.
But you see, the pressure comes from many places. Quite recently, the European nations gathered to produce a statement saying that gender is a social construct.
My God, gender.
So I think it was 39 states who stated that. Now the states are beginning to define what science should define. And the worst thing is that if you go against them, you can sort of be accused of hate speech or I don't know. It's a sick development.
Sick. It's worse
In
than the Soviets.
1954, a UNESCO declaration actually put a ban on biological research on human differences.
It's like lobby groups. It's like the homosexuals who lobby to get homosexuality out of the WHO catalogue, as I remember. But
there are things you are not allowed to talk about.
Exactly.
And that means that this is a kind of censure that actually amounts to what happens in the Soviet Union. And also in Nazi Germany. If you said something they didn't like, you got your head cut off. And that is beginning to show the same pattern in the modern societies.
But if we should end off on a positive note, I would like to mention the persons who have actually stood up, like you're doing. You're not retracting anything. There was a beautiful woman. We need beautiful women for many things. An intelligent woman too. You remember Eva Hermann from Germany?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was very popular news. She was a hostess for several programs, I think, over 18 years. So she was very accepted. Then suddenly I don't know how that happened, she suddenly said something about Hitler's family values, which she found good, and she thought that should be furthered. And out she was. Mm-hmm. She stood up, she sued, I think the television company or whoever else she had to sue, and she won. And now she's made a career. She's a famous author, but she's good at it, like the Eva principle. Mm-hmm. I don't know, how good can you get? That's good. She's beautiful, and she's a success then. So it can be done. You have these groveling, stars, film stars like Mel Gibson, and there was another one, Marlon Brando, and they just retract and excuse and so on. It doesn't help them any. No. They are out anyway. So I think that would be a message to the people, at least one thing that could help. Look, you don't have to retract, you can speak the truth. And the truth will come out in the end anyway, because it goes with the science, it goes with, the development, the natural rise of society that should be there, and the person's, ambitions. Yeah. So it will come out.
But when you're talking about eugenics or the inheritance of intelligence, you should actually be prepared to lose your position, to lose the respect of your colleagues. You will be called an evil person, a morally deprived person. So you should be willing to pay the price for that.
Yes, exactly. I know even Eva Hermann, of course, had to be willing to pay a price to stand by her principles. Yeah. And you also had Jörg Haider. He actually stepped down to keep his party, to keep his position. Remember the top of the People's Party. And of course the pressure is enormous. But it's nice to see that there are these people who are looking for the truth, and some of them have the courage to stay by it. And like with this seminar, you see that there are many people of the same conviction, and these truths will get out. So you're on a winning team, I would say.
I think the primary responsibility of a scientist is to keep sticking to the truth as far as you can get, even if the price is high. But you should also have some ice in your stomach when you're doing it.
Which you obviously have. We're happy that you did this for us, and without people like you, who both have the courage and the intelligence. How high is your intelligence? Have you ever checked that?
That's not relevant.
We won't tell people, but that's probably pretty good. And without people like you, we would be in a bad situation. So thank you very much for doing what you're doing, being who you are, and for joining me here today. Thank you.
Thank you.